welcome to Good Games Spawn Point, the show for gamers by gamers. I'm Bajo.
And I'm Hex.
And I am D.A.R.R.E.N, the ultimate robot companion.
Coming up on the show, we review the latest Sonic game. We gotta go fast with Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice.
And we'll delve into the open world sandbox of Dragon Quest builders.
Darren, another game where you could possibly build a statue of yourself in.
Indeed, Bajo. But first, boot up your brain cells, spawnlings, because it's time for another Darren's Challenge! Today, I'm asking you this. How many blocks tall is a player character in Minecraft? Answer at the end of the show.
Oh, always tough with those Minecraft questions, Darren. But now it's time for some gaming picks with Goose. Hi, Goose.
Hey.
Hi, Goose.
Hey guys!
Hey, Goose, how tall are you?
Well, including my hair, probably about 190 centimetres.
Oh, wow. I'm 163 centimetres, or 164, it depends. When I've been eating ice cream, I think it makes me a little bit taller.
What about you, Darren?
Oh, well, if I extend my antennae all the way, I can be up to 8 meters tall.
Darren, you can't count your antenna, and Goose can't count his hair either. It doesn't count.
It does count.
Hair totally counts, Bajo, but guys, I think we should move on. So here are my picks for this week. And first up, some custom-made gaming goodness. A user by the name of Wyo has spent the last year and a half building this beautiful custom-made Legend of Zelda arcade cabinet. I'll take 2 of those, please. But if you don't have the space for a big arcade cabinet, perhaps a custom-made NES from the team at Mako Mods would interest you. Not only is it a replica Zelda chest, but it uses electromagnets to suspend a rotating Triforce in mid-air. And let's face it, every console would look a lot cooler with a floating Triforce. And next up, we have a warning about the persuasive powers of virtual reality. In a trailer for an upcoming History Channel show, professional snooker player Ronnie O'Sullivan has a go playing snooker in VR.
So now you're holding a cue. Wow.
What are you going for, the 6?
Oh,
wrong.
He clearly forgot about the fact that objects in virtual reality are, you know, they're not real. Ouch. And finally, we have this fun piece of art from 9-year-old Zach, which shows Darren destroying my PC. Good work, Zach. I especially like the detailed veins popping from my face. Remember, if you have any gaming-related art, you can send it in here. But those are my picks for this week. Back to you guys. I'm gonna go make sure my PC's okay.
Thanks, Goose. Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice is the 3rd game in the Sonic Boom spin-off series. Darren, why don't you take it from here? I forgot something.
Oh, affirmative. Well, Sonic Boom is a series of video games based off a cartoon, which is loosely based off the old Sonic games for a new generation of Sonic fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's all a bit confusing, but hey, we've always got time for a new Sonic game.
Hey guys, sorry, I just had to dust off the old Sonic outfit.
Ah, I see. You know, Bajo, I hope you've had that dry cleaned since you last wore it.
What's dry cleaning?
Moving right along, in Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice, Dr. Eggman's back with a plan to embarrass the fully sick and cool Sonic, so he'll have to leave town forever.
And it's not a dumb plan! It's really quite ingenious.
Plus, the team are chasing after a little robot named Ragnabot that is using the power of these fissures.
Whoa, spoilers, Darren. We don't want to spoil the art of a Sonic story for everyone.
Yes, whatever these fissures are for, the entire Sonic Boom team have to combine their powers to close them and stop Ragnabot.
Ah, yes. Sonic is more agile, Amy has a hammer to knock down pillars, Knuckles can punch right through dirt, Sticks can throw a boomerang, and my personal favourite, Tails the Fox, can hover and fire his laser! Pew 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 pew!
You can switch between the characters to use their abilities at any time by touching the 3DS's bottom screen. Kind of felt a bit unnecessary though, since Sonic is always so much better at running and jumping.
Yeah, unless you want to get every single collectible, you don't really need to use the other characters. I just want to go fast.
As well as being able to switch characters, the game's big new feature is the Fire and Ice Aura mechanic, which allows you to switch between fire and ice modes to access different parts of the level.
Yeah, but for a mechanic that's in the title of the game, it's not very fun. Apart from a couple of puzzles towards the end, the only real use is to melt or set ice blocks that are placed around the levels. They're just sort of in the way.
Plus, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Why is there ice on this tropical island? Why is Sonic on fire and/or ice in the first place? So many questions, Hex! I just want to go fast!
Well, Bajo, there are some levels that let you do just that. In addition to the main levels, which have more focus on exploration than traditional Sonic games, there are a number of stages where you get to play as Sonic in a race against Eggman's robots.
Yeah, those were great fun. The other pure Sonic moments were those few 3D stages we had to run to the end and avoid obstacles.
When I played the first one, I got super excited. It was fast, challenging, and mixed up the gameplay. But when the second and third one came around, I realized they were all the exact same level with a slightly different layout. That's not fun. That's repetitive. That's boring.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that kind of sums up the game. The main levels take you to different locations, but they all feel the same. Once I even quit because I thought I was playing a level that I'd already finished.
Well, what about the mini-games where you can control a submarine or a hovercraft? They mixed things up.
Yeah, but these were just unfun. And again, basically the same level every time.
Yeah, you can see there's a lot in this game, but none of it's done particularly well. It's like the developers just had a whole bunch of ideas and just put them all in the game.
Why don't they just pick the good ones? Just pick the good ideas and use those. I just wanna go fast.
So you guys didn't enjoy it?
Well, we are being pretty harsh, but it actually does do a few things well. The boss battles stretch across 2 screens, and while that's nothing new to the DS, it's a great way to show off the big size of the bosses and have unique battles.
Yeah, plus there are rewards for finishing levels within a certain time limit, so, you know, for people who love beating their own scores, there's lots to do here.
So what you're saying, Hex, is that perhaps there is a small chance that I may potentially, maybe, go fast?
Sometimes, Bajo, sometimes.
Hex, I think we'd better let him go fast soon. Keeping this much energy pent up must be bad for his delicate organs.
I think you're right.
So what are you giving it?
Sonic Boom Fire and Ice is kind of a lesson in making an average game. Everything works, but nothing's done well. I'm giving it 2 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Yes, I think if you're a big Sonic fan, you may enjoy the races or the boss battles, but it missed the mark a bit for me. I'm giving it 2.5 out of 5 rubber chickens. Now, Darren, may I please go fast?
All right, Bajo. Be free!
See you at the spawn point desk.
I bet you can beat him there, Hex. He's a bit of a noob.
Oh, I can take the shortcut. Shortcut!
That's the spirit.
Still beat you.
Yeah, it turns out going fast is really exhausting.
All right, well, let's get some questions answered ASAP. And first up, we've got this one from Goosekin, who is in the Oflox galaxy outside Australia.
Once I went so fast, I saw through time.
Really?
Do you know what the future held?
What?
It's me really tired.
As a player of No Man's Sky, I was wondering what your thoughts were on the fake promises made by Sean Murray and Hello Games. Also, knowing this, does this change what you think about No Man's Sky? From your Lord and Robot Master, Goosekin.
Ah, well, Gooskin, that's an interesting question with quite a bit to talk about. Let's get into it, Hex.
Yeah, but I guess we should first talk about what these fake promises Sean Murray, who is head of Hello Games, actually made. I guess the biggest one that upset the most people is the lack of any multiplayer.
Yes, to be fair to Sean, he did try to emphasize the game wasn't about multiplayer, and people shouldn't go into it expecting a multiplayer experience. But he did also say if 2 players happened to cross each other's paths, they would see each other, which turned out not to be the case.
Yeah, he definitely should have nipped that in the bud sooner, I think, and just said that the game had no multiplayer. It's never a good idea to promise a big feature and then release your game without it.
Yeah, and it's especially a bad idea to release the game and then let gamers find out for themselves that it's missing. It feels pretty deceitful.
Yeah, and other than that, there definitely seems like there were more than a few exciting features missing from the final game that we saw in earlier trailers. They showed much more interesting interactions between animals and spaceships, and even things like a giant sandworm. But sadly, almost none of that is in the final game.
Without being the developers of the game, it's hard for us to say where it all went wrong, but I feel like it was maybe a simple matter of Hello Games biting off a bit more than they could chew. No Man's Sky is a hugely ambitious game, and it kind of just falls short of pulling all those ideas together.
Yeah, and I don't think at any point in development they promised something that they didn't intend to put in the game. I'm sure they wanted to deliver on their original vision. So they weren't really fake promises, I don't think, just unfulfilled ones.
Yeah, and they are just a small indie studio, and the game had been delayed so many times, so I guess at some point they couldn't afford to keep working on it and just had to release it, even though it may not have been the game they had originally wanted it to be.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the moral of the story is that it comes down to communication. If Hello Games had maybe been a bit more open and honest about the state of their game throughout development, people wouldn't have got their expectations so high.
As for if all that changes what we think of No Man's Sky, well, yeah, of course it does. On the one hand, we have to review games based on their own merits, and not with any preconceived notions about what we think they should be.
Yeah, but on the other hand, if we're being told to expect one thing right up until we get it, and then, it's released and it's actually missing a lot of that stuff, well, then it's hard not to feel a bit disappointed by it.
Yes, it does highlight a problem with games marketing in general, though. They spend so much time and money trying to get us excited for a game that it inevitably becomes very hard for developers to meet our expectations.
It's definitely a good idea as a general rule to not buy any game's hype too much. You never know if it's going to be good until it's actually released. But I think we should move on now to this one from Bajo's Master in Queensland.
Master, how's Queensland? Is it warm? Are the bananas okay? Dear Good Game SP, I have 2 questions for you. 1, when will LEGO Worlds be out fully? 2, when it does, will it be on PS4? Bajo's Master out. P.S. D.A.R.R.E.N is a noob. P.P.S. Bajo must answer these 2 questions because this will complete his training.
Well, Bajo's Master, I haven't actually been keeping up to date with LEGO Worlds, to be honest, so I'm not really sure where it's at.
Yeah, I'd almost completely forgotten it was even a thing, Hex. I'm surprised it's not out by now, but I'm sure D.A.R.R.E.N can fill us in on all the deets. Let's get on the old ring-a-ding.
Bajo, your master said that you had to answer the question or you wouldn't complete your training, whatever that is.
Well, technically I'm getting D.A.R.R.E.N to answer them, so I think technically that means I'm getting the answers technically.
Yep. I'm not sure that really counts, though.
Well, perhaps it's part of my training. It's part of my training to obtain the answers by using my brain any way possible. All the resources available to me. Like a true... what am I, a ninja? I'm not sure.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
Hey, D.A.R.R.E.N, how's it going?
Oh, hello, Bajo. How can I help you?
We were wondering if you know when LEGO Worlds is going to get fully released, and will it be coming to the PS4?
Well, I'm sorry to say, but I can only give you a few vague answers to those questions, Bajo. Firstly, the developers have simply said they're aiming to release a finished version sometime in 2017. However, they haven't said anything about developing possible console versions, so we don't know if they will bring it to PS4. But most LEGO games do tend to come out on console, so I'd say there's a fairly good chance, once they've finished working on the PC version, they'll start on the console versions, if the game is successful enough.
Oh, all right, thanks for that, D.A.R.R.E.N.
Oh, my pleasure. Goodbye. Tell me lies, tell me sweet lies.
Well, sorry we couldn't get anything more concrete for you there, but let's move on now to this one from The Entity, who is behind you in South Australia.
All hail the Entity.
Hi GGSP, I have recently become a fan of your show and wanted to ask some questions. My brother and I have a PS3 and can't find very many good 2-player games for it. I wanted to ask you the following. 1. What are some of the best 2-player racing games available for the PS3? 2. What are the best platformers on the PS3? 3. Is there any games like Super Smash Bros. On the PS3? A final random question. Do you review iOS games? P.S. Bajo plus Hex, you guys are totally not noobs. D.A.R.R.E.N is pretty okay, but cannot compare. P.P.S. Bajo, do these. Hex, do these. D.A.R.R.E.N, do this.
I'll just get him on the phone here.
Grumpy bot.
Thanks, D.A.R.R.E.N.
Thanks for answering. The Entity out.
Well, Entity, finding good split-screen games can be tricky, but I think we can help you out there. In terms of good two-player racing games, well, I was a big fan of Split Second, which has fast and explosive arcadey racing.
But if you prefer something a little bit more Mario Karty, then you might want to check out Mod Nation Races.
Or if you want something more realistic, then you might want to check out Gran Turismo 5.
As for good platformers, well, the Little Big Planet and Rayman games are easy to recommend, and they have co-op too. And if you're after something a little bit more creative and Minecrafty, then there is Terraria and, well, of course, Minecraft, although that's obviously not a platformer as such.
And speaking of not quite platformers, if you want more of a first-person puzzle platformer, then you might want to check out Portal 2, which also has a fantastic co-op mode.
Yes, and there is indeed a game very much like Super Smash Bros. For the PS3. It's called PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, and it pits famous PlayStation characters like Sackboy and Ratchet and Clank against each other.
And finally, yes, we do review iOS and other mobile games, but we tend to only review ones that seem interesting or noteworthy. Way too many mobile games come out for us to even begin to look at a decent fraction of them.
Well, hopefully that gave you a few good recommendations there, Entity. On that note, though, we're out of time for this week, so if you'd like to ask us something, then you can go here and send in your question.
I think I might get changed out of this now, Hex, on the way to studio.
Yeah.
It's a bit sweaty.
You're starting to smell a little
A
bit.
little stinky?
Yeah.
Smell good though, like flowers.
Dry cleaning. Dry cleaning. That's how you clean something like that went really well.
Yeah, we're good. Minecraft, it's a bit popular, isn't it?
A little bit.
Well, if you combine it with one of the biggest role-playing games in Japan, you get the very fun Dragon Quest Builders.
In Dragon Quest Builders, the land has been brought to ruin by the evil Dragon Lord. You play the part of the legendary Builder, a lone mythical figure who has the power to construct things from scratch, an ability that no one else in this world seems to have.
So, of course, it's up to you to rebuild the land's settlements one block at a time. And eventually clear out all the nasty monsters that currently infest the world.
I love that this sandbox-style game has a story to it. From the very start, you're given clear objectives on what you need to achieve, which at first is to grow your little settlement. But then as you meet other characters, you start picking up little quests. Which usually result in you learning new crafting recipes and seeing your population flourish.
Like in Minecraft, the world is a more dangerous place at night, so you initially need to focus on building up your town's walls and securing its rooms, in between little bouts of combat with ghosts and skeletons.
Too spooky, Darren.
But all the while, you're also free to explore and gather resources, which is done simply by hitting things the Minecraft way. Bash, 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 bash.
Being able to pursue story objectives or just exploring and crafting freely at your own pace is balanced perfectly. In fact, it made it really hard to put this game down, although you can easily get caught up in decorating when you should be out trying to save the world.
But who can resist a flowery kitchen? Or just soaking in a good bath?
Not I, Darren, not I. I thought it was interesting that you're on an island. So to get to new areas, like a big desert or mountainous area, all of which have new crafting resources and monsters to fight, you need to unlock these teleporters. That way you're getting access to new, rarer materials and new things to craft as the story progresses. At first I tried to build a bridge over to one of the other islands, but a magical force repelled me. I want to go there.
I suspect that towards the end of the game, all the areas may link up together, Bajo. The game needs to control the speed of your progress in order to deliver a well-balanced experience.
True.
In terms of the controls, I thought all the crafting and building was pretty slick. It was really easy to very quickly put things together just as I wanted at the right angles, but I found the combat was a little clunky.
Yeah, you do have to sort of hit and back off, then run in again. It's pretty basic. Some sort of lock-on or dodge roll would have really helped the combat.
Although you can craft stronger armor and weapons, as well as shields, which help to deflect and eventually negate the damage from some monsters, allowing you to stand strong and hack away. Oh, bash, bash, bash.
I like that the game has boss fights. At certain points in the story, you'll have to go up against some pretty big monsters that require a bit of Zelda-like puzzling during combat.
Oh yeah, that first big golem fight was really tough. And then to discover that I was to be transported to a new region to start from scratch with a whole new settlement? I mean, that was a bit heartbreaking at first. Until I realised you can always go back to your first town in a separate save file.
Each town does have its own specific challenges to fulfill too, which gives you good reason to spend more time there than the story requires.
Yeah, I saw there were 3 dragons to defeat in the first region. I found one, but it didn't like me very much. But that does suggest that there's lots of secrets for you to go out and discover, and it's really fun doing that.
Yeah, it was so cool coming across that big pyramid in the desert. Deep down in its corridors, I found these magic boots that stopped me from taking fall damage. Now that is very useful.
You know, guys, a game like Minecraft is great because of all the freedom it gives you, but I really like the way this guides you along as an RPG. I was a little annoyed by having to constantly feed my character though, because if you get too hungry, it makes it harder to mine stuff. But really, that's just a small annoyance.
Yeah, I mean, I actually didn't mind coming up with tasty little recipes.
Affirmative. Ooh, bunny burgers. Yum yum. So, what are you going to score this game, you two?
Well, I was totally engaged throughout all of this. There's lots to do and weeks of gaming in it, so I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 rubber chickens.
I honestly thought this was fantastic. I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Bash, bash, bash.
Well, we are almost at the end of the show, and that means, Darren, it's time for the answer to your challenge.
Affirmative. Earlier in the show, I asked you, how many blocks tall is a player character in Minecraft? And the answer is 1.8 blocks.
Darren, so specific. Well, next week on the show, we'll be saving the world with paintbrushes in Paper Mario Color Splash.
Artistic.
Skylanders is back, this time with custom character creation and Skylanders Imaginators.
Oh, guys, I'm excited about this. I had a quick play with the developer this year at E3, and I made a little Darren, and it was pretty good if I do say so myself, which I do.
What was the word you used to describe?
Squat. Yeah, let's take that down. Take that down a notch. That's good.
Okay, big head or small head?
Darren has quite a small head in comparison to his body.
Okay, well...
So maybe we should make him,
There?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Silvery, robot, squat.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we like this?
That's pretty good.
It looked nothing like me, Bajo.
Well, Darren, I thought it was pretty good.
I expected better.
Oh, come on, Darren, I think you tried really hard. Well, until next time, may all your games be good ones. Hex out.
Bajo out.
Darren out.
Darren, it's not my fault that there weren't enough squat options.
I'm not squat. Mumbot says I'm very tall.
Maybe you need to eat some more ice cream, Darren. Give you an extra centimetre.
Yeah.